back to my channel, and welcome back to the most controversial video I'll probably ever film. Before I start this video, know that this is my own personal opinion. Do not get really antsy about my top 3, because I know my top 3 will probably be different than other people's top 3. Also, no Beatles album is particularly bad or worst. I'm going to call it worst to best because that seems to be the norm of what people call these videos, but it's not worst to best. You know, my first choice, as in the first one I'm going to show you, is not, it's my least favourite Beatles album, but it's not a bad album or the worst album, if that makes sense. So we're just going to start with, well, we're going to start with the Decca Sessions tapes, which I'm counting as an album before Please Please Me, but it's just an honourable mention. Just some, you know, some really great songs with Pete Best as drummer. This is 1962, before Please Please Me. But okay. So first up, my least favourite Beatles album is, drumroll, With the Beatles. For me, I love it. I do love this album. I love all the songs on it. Just when you compare this to the other Beatles albums, you know, it falls back a bit. So, yeah. Next up we have Yellow Submarine, which some people might not count it. I'm going to. It's Saving Grace is Hey Bulldog, It's All Too Much, All Together Now, Only a Northern Song. And Yellow Submarine's great as well. But other than that, it's not. I mean, the side 2 instrumentals by George Martin, that's all I can say. It's just the audible sigh. It's alright. It's not the best. Next up, we have Please Please Me. I think this is better than With the Beatles. I love I Saw Her Standing There. Great way to start your career. I love Misery, Anna, James, Please Please Me is great. Love Me Do. And of course it's got Twist and Shout. One of the best Beatles. Why am I all blah? Why am I all like washed out? Hold on. There we go. Ignore that. And you know, Twist and Shout, one of the best Beatles songs. Just absolutely superb. So, next, hang on. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I know how many Beatles records there are. So, next up, Hard Day's Night. I mean, it's the first album that's fully written by the performers, and it is a really great album. Can't Buy Me Love, And I Love Her. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. When I Get Home is great. I'll Be Back. I'll Cry Instead. Can't Buy Me Love. But this is why the Beatles are so great. I haven't listened to Can't Buy Me Love in probably about a week or two. It's just not on my playlist. But I can still sing it because I know it's in your head. It's so catchy and memorable and good. Next up, Beatles for Sale. We're now getting into the more fleshed out Beatles albums when they started becoming, you know, the band that we love. No Reply is great. I'm a Loser, Rock and Roll Music, Mr. Moonlight, Kansas City, Honey Don't is great. I love Ringo. Ringo's singing. Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby. Great album. Next up, now some people might not count this one as well, but I will. Magical Mystery Tour. I Am the Waters, Your Mother Should Know. A Fall on the Hill, the title track. It is just great. I haven't seen the film. I haven't seen the film, sadly. I do need to see. Now I'm all washed out again. Oh, and I'm getting ill. I haven't seen, but I need to see the film. And I love that picture at the back. So, next up, Help. I love, this is, in my mind, the perfect Beatles album. And it's not even in the top 3. That's what I'm trying to say. This is still, even though it's not in the top 3 or top 4, it's absolutely brilliant. Just fantastic. Help is great. The Night Before. You've Got to Hide Your Love Away. Another Girl. Ticket to Ride. Act Naturally. It's Only Love. All the songs on this album are brilliant. Yesterday, Dizzy Miss Lizzie, I've Just Seen a Face. You can't fault them, you know. Just superb. This is where it gets controversial. One moment. 1, 2, 3. So my 6th favourite Beatles album is... Oh, okay, you're coming out. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, which I have a lovely gatefold version. Gatefold version? A picture disc version. Isn't that, I think that's beautiful. Actually, I think that's going up in that fucking case. Photo frame even. That's my 6th favourite Beatles album. I mean, it's Sgt. Pepper's. You can't fault it. Just absolutely brilliant. I love, my favourite bit on that album, and one of my favourite musical pieces of all time, is when the reprise of Sgt. Pepper's ends, and the laughter and the clapping sort of fades out into this lonely piano that starts a day in the life. I think that's just, I get so much chills. It's so fucking good. Just absolutely amazing. I absolutely love it. So next, my 5th favourite Beatles album is Revolver. You can't fault it. This was the first Beatles album I got into properly. Like, you know, I listened to the hits, and I got the first Beatles album I bought was a #1 singles album, the Bright Red one. But this is like an official Beatles album that I got into. Taxman, absolutely brilliant. Eleanor Rigby, one of my favourite songs. Yellow Submarine, great. Love You Too. George Harrison's Indian vibes coming through. She Said. And Your Bird Can Sing. The drumming on And Your Bird Can Sing, my god. Dr. Robert's great. 401, one of the most beautiful songs of all time. And of course, Tomorrow Never Knows. Tomorrow Never Knows could have been released yesterday in, you know, the indie genre of rock music, and you wouldn't know any difference. You wouldn't know it's a 1966 song. Just brilliant. And I love that picture of the band. So my fourth, I have dyslexia, shut up. 4th favourite Beatles album is Abbey Road. Go and watch my review of Abbey Road, which will be up, should have been up yesterday. Just superb. You can't, this is their masterpiece. And again, what I'm trying to say, this is only 4th for me, but it's still a masterpiece. It's still a 10 out of 10 album. Everything about this album is flawless. Absolutely flawless. So, right, stop falling down. They're all on the bed behind me. My 3rd favourite Beatles album is the White Album. Just like an hour and a half of pure Beatles majesty. I love the 2018 mix. Just superb. Back in every song. Maybe not Wild Honey Pie, but every other song, just fantastic. And I love how, you know, a lot of these songs have stories behind them, and I know a lot of Beatles songs do anyway, but for the White Album there's so much story and intrigue in every song, especially Revolution Number 9. Just superb. Absolutely amazing. Cannot fault this. So, you probably guessed what number 2 and number 1 are, but my 2nd favourite Beatles album is Rubber Soul. I think that this is just perfection. This is where the Beatles were, maybe not at their peak, but the sound and the production and the way the way it sounds is just, for me, it's my favourite. Just, I love it, how raw and Um, it's still their early sound mixed in, some of their later stuff that would come to be what they're known for. It's a sort of bridge in between, if you understand what I'm trying to say. And I think it's just brilliant. Drive My Car is amazing. Norwegian Wood, absolutely brilliant. And that sitar, the first time the Beatles would use a sitar, just superb. You Won't See Me, uh, Paul McCartney, vocals, just smashes it. Nowhere Man, brilliant. Think for Yourself, George Harrison, I love it. The Word, which is a very R&B, soul groove sort of song, which they wrote with Bob Dylan while they were high, which is just amazing in itself. Michelle is great. What Goes On with Ringo singing, just amazing. Girl, I love it. John Lennon singing is just amazing. This is not a sponsored video. Oh, there's ice and cold. In My Life, one of my favourite Beatles songs. The guitar, the vocals, just amazing. I'm speechless when I talk about these things. Wait is great. If I Needed Someone, George Harrison, amazing. And Run For Your Life, just superb. Now, my favourite Beatles album. If you watch this far, you already know what it is. But the greatest Beatles album of all time, and the reason I'm going to get in trouble with Beatles fans, is Let It Be. Just the raw nature of this album, and specifically, I like the naked version, but I don't have it on vinyl. And this one's still great. They seem so happy in the recording. I know they weren't that happy, but when you listen to it, it's so raw in the sound. I know that's what they were going for, and it's just so, there's energy to it, and it sounds like it's just the band. Whereas on Abbey Road, there's lots more instrumentation, there's lots more strings and horns and flutes and whatever. But this is just stripped back, and it's just the Beatles sound in there. It's the same as Rubber Soul. Rubber Soul is just the Beatles being the Beatles. It's perfect. Perfect, like 100% Beatles. And I get the same vibe from this album as well. I know Phil Spector added in a lot of, other instrumentation to it, especially on my favourite Beatles song of all time, The Long and Winding Road. But it's still just pure Beatles essence, and I absolutely adore it. Probably the Beatles album I've listened to most as well. It means it's just so great, and even though this tops my list, and your list might be different, it probably is different, it's just the Beatles, it's so swear word talented. You can't fathom it in your head. No band is really that talented. I obviously have other bands that I prefer. Well, one band, the Beatles, are second on my list of bands. But you can't just listen. Not that. See, I'm speechless. If you're trying to describe why the Beatles are so great, it's hard for me to do, because I just want to say amazing and brilliant and all these words. But I'm rambling. Greatest Beatles album of all time. Roland Gallagher 2020. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching my Beatles vinyl reviews. Next up we'll be doing Joy Division and then Linkin Park. And I will see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.